settled here, let's rise for the pledge of allegiance. And also, today we had a terrorist attack outside of the Kabul airport, where a number of our Marines, Navy folks perished. So I would like to have just a moment's silence in their memory. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, June 24th, 2021? Who made the motion? All right. Is there a second? Allison? Is there any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Everyone has a copy of tonight's agenda. I do have one addition that we're going to have. We'll do it right after the vote on the agenda. We have a visitor from Hamilton County that's running for Supreme Court. We'll be introducing her in a moment. But I'd like to have her added to the agenda before the business. Is there a motion to adopt today's agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, our first order of business then, we have with us Judge Marilyn Zayas. Is that how you pronounce it? Right. She is a judge or an appeals court judge in the First District Court of Appeals, which covers all of Hamilton County. And she's a candidate for the Supreme Court for next year. Right now, the Supreme Court is 4-3 Republican. The current Chief Justice is aged out, so she can't run. She's up next year. And Jennifer Bruner, who just got elected 2 years ago, or what? Yeah, 2 years. 2020. She is going to be running for Chief Justice. There are two other seats that are up. Judge DeWine, and the rumor is that Pat DeWine is rumored to be wanting to run for Chief Justice, and also Judge Fisher. And we have Marilyn is going to run from one of those two seats. And I'd like to bring her up just to introduce herself and just say a few words about herself. Marilyn?
Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of myself tonight. Are you able to hear me?
No.
Okay. No?
Just closer with the mic.
There.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm Judge Marilyn Zayas, and I serve on Hamilton County's First Appellate District. So when I was a little Latina girl growing up in New York City, I grew up in a very tough neighborhood. When we moved in, it was just a working class neighborhood, but it quickly transitioned with the heroin epidemic of the 70s. And one of my blessings is that my apartment had a balcony. And I would go to that balcony that was cement floor painted green. That was my yard, that was my grass. And I'd play with my Barbies, and my dreams were very simple back then. It was basically to not be a statistic, to make it through high school, make it to college, to own a home someday, and to find my way out of New York City and out of my circumstances. Because not only did I grow up in a very difficult neighborhood, you know, nowadays you hear the word dysfunctional family, that sugarcoats what my family circumstances were like. But for me, you know, ultimately education was very important. I went to a top 100 public school. Then when I went to the university, I went to the best university that I could afford to go to. I started as an electrical engineer, engineering major, but I used to commute 4 hours on the subway system for my entire undergraduate career. And then my blessing again was when I was recruited by Procter & Gamble. So I came to Ohio to work with Procter & Gamble. After about 6 years, I left P&G to pursue my dream, which was to be an attorney. So I was a practitioner for almost 20 years before I ran for the First Appellate District. And when I ran for the First Appellate District, I was a complete political outsider. I knew nothing about politics. I didn't even know what a PAC was. I was in the game for a few months before I finally had the courage to ask somebody like, what's this PAC thing I keep hearing about? Because I literally didn't even know what a PAC was. But I ran because as a practitioner, you know, I was in front of judges and I did a lot of appellate work. And I was very frustrated when I would get a decision from a judge and I felt like, did they actually read my brief? Did they really understand the facts of the case? Did they understand my arguments? So I ran with sort of like the knowledge of like, look, if I have an opportunity to do this, I know how I'm going to do it because job number one is to serve the people. So when I ran at 16, it was believed like, you know, this Latina girl from New York, I don't know who she thinks she is, but there's no way she's going to win against this incumbent, and yet the good people of Hamilton County did vote me in 2016. It was an unexpired term, so I had to run again in 2018, and as what I was told is that I was public enemy number one for having won in 2016. It was a very tough race. But again, I really do believe that people vote for people. I also believe that it's important for folks to know who I am. So when I was, for example, when I was campaigning in 18, I would bring my written decisions with me and I would share them. And my thought was like, you know, either if you don't like it, that's okay. You know, this is who I am. This is who I am on paper. And it's okay for people to know who that is. So ultimately, when I ran in 18, the good people of Hamilton County, they gave me over 60% of their vote. So I won by over 20 points, which no judge running for Hamilton County has ever won as a Democrat with over 20 points. And I share that with you, not because it's a badge of pride, but to me it's a badge of pride of where I have been. I've lived more of my life in Hamilton County in Ohio than anywhere else. And so ultimately, I don't see this race as any different. I think that people vote for people. You know, we're talking about the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court makes a decision, that decision is setting law for all Ohioans. It's telling all Ohioans that they have to follow that decision and follow that law, and it's serving all Ohioans. And it's a collaborative court, so it's 7 judges, and it's 7 judges that are going to be reviewing a case. So, for example, like let's say I played a video of a particular scenario, and I showed it to 100 Ohioans. There might be 5 different scenarios of what they believe happened in that video. So if we have 7 judges that have the same perspective, that means only 80% of that video would be represented, would be understood, would be heard, right? So it's the same thing with cases that go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is a collaborative court, but it's important that there is an understanding of everyone within that court. So like in the first appellate district, when I was elected, I was the first Democrat there for years. And I will tell you that there's been many, many times that we have had cases where my understanding of the facts, my seeing something in the facts changed how the law applied, because ultimately we say, hey, the law's the law, but the law applies, you know, the fluidity is, how does it apply to the facts of the case? And so how people see the facts of the case is going to outcome how the law is going to apply and going to change the outcome of that case. So there's been multiple occasions where my understanding of the facts and being able to articulate that to my peers has actually changed applying the law and the outcome of the case. And so that's why I'm running for the Supreme Court. It's a very unique opportunity for Ohio. I think that Ohio has come out strong in their votes in Supreme Court because Ohioans really want people in our Supreme Court that is really serving the entire community and reflective of our entire community. I brought some lit pieces with me. I'm going to pull them out. Take as many as you want that you want to share with people that you know, and I'll just collect any extras at the back.
I have 2 questions for you. One, the current Chief Justice has been pushing for party affiliation to show up on the ballot. I'd like to know what your position is on that. And the second one is, Ohio's got a hodgepodge of filing systems, clerks, the whole process is not unified. And they've been talking about modernizing this now for a couple of years, but it's not happening fast enough. The state of Wisconsin, the state of Florida, one system, every court. We're not paying for all these different clerk of court systems, websites, everything. Where do you stand on that issue as well?
Okay.
Let me answer the first one for her, if I could, because that law already passed. It's gonna be, they already passed that law.
They passed it, and are you for or against it?
So I'm going to answer the second one first. So the
Okay.
second one is a policy question. And that's, that's why who the Chief Justice is and who the judges are at the Supreme Court is important. Because the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice are the ones that are setting the direction for all the courts in Ohio, okay?
Right.
And so, when you're talking about how things are filed, that is in the umbrella of accessibility. And accessibility is very important. If I was to stop the everyday Ohioan and say, to who does the White House belong to? They would say the people, right? To who does the Capitol belong to? They would say the people. To who does the court belong to? I would get a pause, right? Well, the courts belong to the people, and it should serve the people.
So
With
you're-
regard to the second question, so I'm for anything that is going to cut costs and gain accessibility,
Okay.
okay? Because we're here to serve the people. The second question, party affiliation. So, that has already passed. I don't think we need to talk about why that happens. But I was asked about this recently by someone who said, how do you feel about the fact that we have now put party affiliation, and they knew that I'm, looking towards running for the Supreme Court. And I had the same 3 badges I had on today, and I said, look at my name. Who do you think that, do you think anyone was confused when they voted for me, when there wasn't party affiliation? So I'm not concerned about it, but what I am concerned about is that the judiciary is the one branch of the government that should represent everyone and is there to serve everyone, and that everyone needs to be confident in. It should be seen as the most apolitical branch of the government. So I'm not very keen on anything that is politicizing the one branch, which is the branch that should be the most apolitical branch. When you're talking about when you're talking about the legislature, of course, that's issue-based, right? When you're talking about the judiciary, that's community-based. So that's,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much. Mayor.
The second issue you raised up here is really going to be an issue that the legislature would have to pass that. There are a majority of courts in the country that are what they call unified courts, but it's going to be a legislature.
I'm having a hard time understanding you through your math.
Right. So that's really unified courts. There are probably a majority of states, like 26, 27, that do have a unified. It's something the legislature would have to do. And what they would have to do then is they would have to take the responsibility for paying for it all. So I'm good look at Ohio, because right now they push everything down to the local to pay for those things. But, I mean, that's where you need to put any pressure on is of the legislature. Okay. Next order. Thank you, Judge, for coming in, and we hope to see you soon. And it is, as we said before, it's a 4-3 Republican majority court. If we could switch that with her election, that would be great. We do have another judge that she's up from East Ohio, that has also announced her candidacy for the other seat. So we will have a full slate running next year. I believe, just at this point, it'll be all women. So. All right. Our next order of business is the screening committee met to make some recommendations. I think we're going to try to take these all at once here. screened in the Kettering City Council for at large. We screened Joe Hall, who is running again at large. Right now, there are 4 candidates. It's a question of whether one of them wants to make the ballot, but right now 4 candidates for 1 seat, or 2 seats, I'm sorry, 2 seats. The only Democrat that is running is Joe Hall, and I think she's here. Joe, do you want to stand up and be recognized? I'll call on you later on to receive the endorsement of the Democratic Party. Dayton School Board, there are 4 seats up. There are 3 people that were certified for the ballot for 4 seats, and then there are now 4 people who are running as a write-in, and then the top 4 will then become the one for next year. It was our recommendation that Jocelyn Reinhardt and Karen Gagne receive our endorsement. I know that Jocelyn is here. Is Karen here as well? Pardon? Oh, Joe, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Joe. Joe Lacey's also here, he's running. Now, again, Joe has been approved for the ballot. Jill has been approved for the ballot. And Chris Goodwine has been approved for the ballot. So they don't have to write their names in. Likelihood Joe is probably going to win the election. Jocelyn will probably win the election. Chris will. Really, the battle is going to be for the last seat, which is all going to be a write-in campaign. So.
But why wasn't I considered?
I don't know, Joe. I thought we had sent out letters to the people that were already there. I think, frankly, Joe, at the time, there was only 3 people running for 4 seats, so we really weren't going to have anybody come. On Monday, when there were 4 people running as write-ins, we had people call up and ask if they could be screened. So that's how we did it.
So school board candidates called and asked that
Yes.
you screen for school board, but you didn't call all the school board candidates for screening.
That's correct.
Is that a problem? Is there a problem with that process?
Absolutely.
So I didn't get a chance to screen,
Well,
and you made a decision without my participation or
We can-
any of the other candidates.
we can still screen in September.
Then I motion to amend to
Well, there's no
hold
motion
on
on
the school board on voting on the school board.
There's no motion on the floor right now.
Okay.
Then we have a Harrison Township trustee. There are 2 people on the ballot for 2 seats. One of which is Republican or Democrat Roland Winburn. Roland, are you here? And we've endorsed him in the past. It was our recommendation that Roland Winburn receive the endorsement. In Riverside City Council, there are 4 people up for 4 seats. Sarah Lomach asked for our endorsement. It was a recommendation that she receive the endorsement. In Inglewood City Council, there are 3 people running for 2 seats. And Solomon Hill. Solomon, are you here? He's there in the back. He received the recommendation for our endorsement. And then in Trotwood City Council, Yvette Page is running for Trotwood District 2. Was our recommendation. She received the endorsement. She is running unopposed. Tom.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the recommendations of the screening and the executive committee and endorse the aforementioned candidates as presented to the delegates tonight.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor.
I motion to amend the motion to remove the candidates I and III, 2I and 3I.
Who was the second?
Second.
Okay. So who was the second of Scott Thomason? And then who seconded this past motion? Who was that? I can't see. Carol Holm?
I didn't hear.
Carol,
Spelled
is
it
it-
fast.
Carol Holmes, is that you? Second. I can't see through your mask, so I'm sorry. I mean, I'm having a hard time, so. All right, so there's a motion to amend on the floor. Any discussion on that motion to amend? All right, hearing none on the motion to remove the two school board candidates at this point. All in favor, raise your hand.
I've got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sorry, 10, 11.
All right, opposed to that motion, raise your hand.
Keep them up one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
All right, the motion fails. So on the original motion, is there any discussion on the original motion? All right, those in favor of the original motion to accept the...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would like to make one comment on the original motion. So we are voting on to endorse two people running for the Dayton School Board.
Correct.
There are 4 seats up for election
Correct.
in November, right?
Correct.
So there is still time for us to consider other candidates to fill those other 2 seats. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
All right, on the original motion, all in favor, signify by raising your hand, please.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 26, 7, 8. Sorry, you guys.
All right, opposed, raise your hand.
I only see 3 hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right, the motion carries. There was a, or endorsed, you want to say a few words, Jill?
I want to thank the screening committee so much for the endorsement. I'm really thrilled for that opportunity. There's a lot to do in Kettering that involves we need updated infrastructure. We have 50% child hunger rate in Kettering, and we have resources to do something about it. We need help working families, fill our office park, and we need daycare, better public transportation. We need to update our sewers. You know, city council does things like that too. I am the 3rd generation of hall running. Many of you know and have met most of you. And my dad, Congressman Tony Hall, taught me to have the back of people in Dayton. That's what I intend to do. The thing that I care about is that working families can feed their kids at the end of the day and all the policies that go into that. So that's what I hope to get to work on in Kettering City Council. I'm running against somebody whose only platform is anti-vaccine. And it's a QAnon guy. So that's, you know, the new strategy for QAnon. Biden's not really the president, is to run for local school boards and city council. So I really need help. I can use help knocking on doors in Kettering. It'll impact other cities. You know, if you're not in Kettering, I would still love your help. And there's 2 seats for at large and 3 of us running. So thank you so much from the screening committee for the endorsement, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
microphones, please, in the PA. It's really hard to hear in here. Mark,
Okay.
we have them come up and speak. It's,
All right, is Jocelyn, you want to say a few words?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank everybody for this endorsement. Real quick, my name is Jocelyn Reinert. I'm running for re-election to the Dayton School Board. I've been doing this for 4 years, and it's because I deeply believe in the power of public education. I believe in the power of public education to transform lives and desegregate our schools and our communities. I work really hard to do that at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level. I'm extremely fortunate to have this job, and I'm really excited to do it again. If I may, just to clear the air, I don't want anybody to come away from this feeling awkward. I would just like to say, first of all, I'm grateful that there's opportunity for more school board candidates to seek endorsement. And when I reached out to the Montgomery County Democratic Party last week about this endorsement, I was excited to do it because I didn't get this endorsement 4 years ago. There wasn't an endorsement 4 years ago because it was a little bit contested and they chose to not do that. And it means the world to me this time around. I deeply believe in the power of the Democratic Party to change people's lives. And I was an unknown quantity 4 years ago. And so they didn't know who I was, and I didn't get the endorsement. But since that time, I have worked on people's campaigns. I have given money. I have dedicated myself to knocking on doors and supporting candidates financially and emotionally. I believe in the Montgomery County Democratic Party. I'm excited to see the ways in which it can further progressive agendas in this area. And I just, again, can't say how grateful I am for your support. Thank you so much.
The only candidate that was endorsed is Solomon. If you want to come up and say a few words. Solomon, by the way, was recruited, if you will, through the program of contested race that we was running earlier this summer and spring, and he found out about that that time and decided to run. So, Solomon, you have to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. I truly am honored and grateful for your vote of confidence and your support with my endeavor to run for City Council for Inglewood. This is my first political endeavor, so I welcome all support, knowledge, resources that you may have. I truly believe in the power of the people, and I believe in representing each and every individual in the city of Inglewood, and being an active contributor to the Democratic Party. So once again, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, our next is on our agenda is the treasurer's report. Mary is going to give it to us today. Mary Patterson.
Nick can't be here tonight, so I got delegated. The political checking account has $19,154.33. The restricted has $142.63. The state checking has $69.22. The judicial account has $186.16. The building checking account has $567.79. The building savings account has $168,736.15.
I would move to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. Opposed? All right. We have some committee reports. First of all, communications. Ken?
Don't have a lot to add to last meetings. We're working on all our different channels. I think we're making good progress. We got people working on social media, email, website, everything else, newsletter. If you have any ideas or messages that you would like to get out to the people we communicate with, please let us know. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me you can send me an email, ken.mccall@att.net. Pretty simple. And I'd like to hear from you for what, if you have things that you would like to communicate, you think it would be good to communicate to Montgomery County Democrats, please let me know. Also, on the social media, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, I invite you to to engage with those. Share, post if you feel if they speak to you, and retweet tweets or like tweets as well if you're on Twitter, so we can amplify our engagement. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach more people, and we'd like to build our email list as well. So we're going to be talking about ways to do that. So that's it. Thanks.
Can you say your email again?
It's ken.mccall, MCCALL, @att.net. I welcome your input.
Thanks, Ken.
Yep.
And Ken, in addition to doing that, did an eloquent presentation to the redistricting committee that was held here in Dayton on Tuesday. We thank him for doing that. Get the word out. It was an overflow crowd. They had to have it people in 2 rooms in order to do that. So thank you. Precinct Captain Committee, Allison.
Hi. We had in July a precinct captain meeting and training, specifically for those new precinct captains who came along, but I'd like to thank everybody who came that evening. It's important that we do get together and move forward as a group. Also, I have been working with different candidates and groups, especially in the south suburbs. We're trying to coordinate campaigns to elect or re-elect Democrats. I think the Republicans are a little scared about the results in the South Dayton suburbs this last election, and so they are really turning up the heat and putting some extreme candidates up in Oakwood, Kettering, and Centerville. As we do that, I am going to be reaching out to all of my precinct captains, especially those in the south suburbs and Washington Township. We've got Kiara, who needs help in a number of different places. We don't have any precinct captains in Moraine, and she's also running there. So if you are a precinct captain and you are in a precinct that doesn't have any competitive races, so you're not going to be really busy, please reach out. Come and join us to help Kiara, help Jill, help those folks on the school boards, because really it's pretty frightening, the opposition that we have in the south suburbs, and we do not want to let them get hold of our city councils and our school boards. So please, everybody, let's put out maximum effort. Even if you can't walk, you can come and stuff plastic bags or something. So precinct captains, let's work together this time. It's important. Thank you.
I don't think is there anyone here from community involvement? Zach, are you wanted? Zach, I thought I heard calling. Zach left. Okay. Zach Zugelder is our new chair for the campaigns and elections, but he's not here any longer. Rules. What do you get for rules? Northwest Dems. Anyone want to give a report from Northwest Dems? Barb?
Well, we had our picnic on August the 8th. It was well attended. Oh, okay. Well attended. We had a lot of candidates come and give their presentation. Our next meeting is going to be September the 9th, and we just made a decision today to move it from in-person, it was gonna be our first in-person meeting in a year and a half, back to Zoom. So that's unfortunate due to COVID numbers creeping up. And that's about all I have.
Thank you, Barb. And we'll go Allison back up for something. Thank you, thanks.
We also had our picnic. We had it yesterday at Delco Park, and we were very fortunate. We heard rumbles of thunder in the distance, but they didn't come to us, but we did have a rainbow over us. So I think that that's, indicative of a good season to get our folks in. We also had a lot of folks who are candidates come and introduce themselves and pick up some helpers for their campaigns, as I hope all of us will attach ourselves to at least one. Wanted to thank everybody who did come. We also will be having our first meeting on the 22nd of September. Tim and I are actually going on a week's vacation, so that's something we haven't done much recently. We don't have a home base right now. Oakwood Library is still under renovation. Hopefully it won't take too long before we can get back there. But we also made the decision, because of COVID, that we are probably going to have our first couple of meetings on Zoom and then keep reassessing how things are from there, which is unfortunate. We were looking forward to getting back together again. But hopefully one of these days we can get back to normalcy. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Darius, will you report for the Young Downs?
All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to thank the folks in the room who came to our first Real Talk. The Young Dims have been doing, or at least we started, a series of Real Talks. We're going to be covering issues that we care about. So we started by doing one on HB 294 with Deputy Director of the Board of Elections, Sarah Greathouse. She gave a great presentation. We learned a lot. So we'll continue to be doing those in the near future. We also just came back from the Young Democrats of America Convention. We sent 7 delegates there. It was right down the street in Cincinnati, so that was great. Well represented. And last but not least, we are holding a day of action for Commissioner Mims. Obviously, he's running for mayor. We're also going to be canvassing for the commission. Candidates who are endorsed on Sunday. We'll be having a cookout afterwards. So if anybody's here who would like to attend, we're meeting at Commissioner Mims' house. I don't want to give out his address. This was a little weird, but it's on the flyer. So just check out the flyer if you do want to participate. Young Dims, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Just Dayton Young Dims. So if you want to keep up with us, you can do that there. Thank you.
Anyone here from College Downs? Right. And I don't see anyone here from Democrat Warriors. All right, is there any candidate updates? All right, concerns or announcements? Carolyn?
I just have a real quick for anybody, I know there's a few of you, Washington and Centerville Precinct Captains, our Zoom is this Saturday at 10 a.m. So I'll send out an email, but I just wanted to remind you, because we do have this Centerville school board race that we need to be concerned about.
David? I had those 2 issues. Are they under this or under something else?
It would be under this if you want to raise it. If you want to raise concerns, this is the time.
At the last party meeting, I'm David Ezrati. The last party meeting, I asked that we make a motion and vote on spending money in the Dayton City Commission race. All 4 candidates are Democrats. In the mayoral race, that is not the case. There's a Democrat and there's a Trumper. I do not believe it benefits our party or moving forward our party by investing money in pushing one Democrat over another where there's a real race in the mayoral campaign. I was asking that we make a motion not to spend any party money on the candidates for commission and spend it all in the mayor's race. I asked for that, said we had to come back. Somehow somebody forgot about it, so it's not on the official agenda, but I'd like to see that voted on. The second thing, I talked about our initiative to bring ranked choice voting to the city of Dayton. The information is at reconstructingdayton.org/ranked choice. The complete text of it was there. I announced this last time. We've tried multiple times to get something back from the party, from Mark. Apparently, our communications just don't reach anybody, but with ranked choice voting, we can do several things. One, get more women elected. Two, get more minorities elected and represented. Three, eliminate the cost of stupid primaries where they have very, very low turnout. And we also gain the opportunity to put candidates in front of people that may be more diverse than this party is willing to back, and give them an opportunity to get a taste of what it's like to run and everything else. Ranked choice voting is endorsed by the state party. They've taken a position on it. There's a whole bunch of other organizations that have said that ranked choice voting is a very viable solution. And I was asking for the endorsement. We were originally going to roll it out for the November election, but some of our backers haven't finished coming through with the funding, so we are moving toward putting it on the ballot in the primary, which is unfortunate, but it's going to be what it's going to be. But I would like the party to take a position on it so that we can say this is something we're working towards. So I asked that last time. There was supposed to be a vote this time. I have some of the literature that's here in the back. But again, everything you need to know is at reconstructingdayton.org/ranked choice. There's Rank the Vote Ohio, Represent Us, and the More Equitable Democracy. All of them have said they're pushing for it. There's a couple other groups we're trying to get on board as well. But primaries are not good for either party. In the Republican Party now, it seems to bring out the worst of the worst and puts us up against Trumpers. And in our party, we often see a move towards the center or the centrist, and that's not always the best thing. It's good to have, we're supposed to be the wide party, not the narrow one. So I'd still like to see a vote on that position. I don't know what this party does because I've been on the Central Committee now for almost 12 years, and we continue to do things like endorse in primaries. And last but not least, I have this on my car. Voting Republican kills Americans. If you want one, see me afterwards. Thank you.
To your first point, the first point on spending money. So much of the money that is would be spent would be through a joint effort. So it would be spent for slate cards that would have their names on it as well. They've been endorsed or entitled to that. So is your motion, you can ask me yes or no, does your motion say we can't send out slate cards?
I don't think we should endorse on slate cards. I don't think we should spend, we can
Well,
have
we don't need-
all four names and say these are the endorsed ones, but we can have all four names as Democrats.
So, but we'd be spending money on those votes, right?
On
And
slate.
then the other, let me say, the other point is that sometimes it looks like we're spending money, but it's really their money. In order to, say, send out or cards, mailings, all the times they'll have to pay us, and then we'll have to pay the state party who then sends it out.
Again, that should be available to all Democrats, not just the endorsed ones.
Right, well, that's kind of what our rules are that we set in our Constitution, so.
Again, we're being the undemocratic party.
Mr. Chairman, if you two want to debate,
Well,
you should take him and let him continue to debate, but it's ridiculous. He had his time on the floor, and now he's
I just wanted to, Tom, I just wanted to clarify what it is that he was saying.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to ask for a motion on that?
I asked for a motion last time, and
Well-
I was told it was gonna be presented on the ballot on the agenda this time. So it's kind of pointless. No matter what I say, nothing happens. No matter what we do as a process, it only works the way you want it to.
You're free to make a motion right now.
I'll make first motion that we do not, as a party, spend money on a race without giving the same opportunity to all 4 Democrats that are on the ballot. We can put endorsed on them and not endorsed, but we should have all 4 Democrats listed because they are Democrats. If it's gonna be paid for by the party,
Can you condense that into a motion, everyone?
they get it.
Is there a second?
No second.
Well, David, how about the answer to Mark's question about spending money for people who are using the party to facilitate their...
Should be available to all Democrats, is my answer. It shouldn't be just available to the Democrats.
The only thing in order right now is a second.
Is anybody gonna second my motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand.
One, two.
All right, opposed, raise your hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You don't need to count.
7, 8. I sure do. 9, 10, 11.
Oh, we're all of a sudden, we're all
14,
democratic
15,
about
16,
it. Thanks.
17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, keep them up. Let me count twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, motion fails. Do you want to present the second motion, David, or do you want to wait until you have something more concrete?
It's very concrete. It's on the website, and I've asked, but we'll wait till the next meeting. We'll put it up, and it'll be on the agenda. It's mailed out with a link to the complete text of
That's not how we print our agenda in the newsletter, David. Sorry.
Okay. It's
Call your motion.
It's an 8-page document.
Call your motion.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to wait?
No, I'll wait.
All right.
Well, can't you make a motion that it would be on the agenda on the...
No.
Well, we can put it on the agenda, but there probably won't be a link to it. I mean, we.
It'll get the same treatment every other item on the agenda gets.
So you never put a link to a website or anything?
No, not any agenda, no.
Well, then, I mean, if the group here decided that they wanted to do that, that would be possible, and that's not a bylaw or anything.
Sure, call the question on it, Mike.
I'll move that you include a link. I'll make a motion to do that.
I second.
All right.
I mean, that would seem fair to do that.
There's a motion and a second.
Any discussion on the motion? Ken, can that be done? You do the newsletter now.
Well, it can be put in, we can put a link in the newsletter,
Well, yeah, that's...
but the agenda doesn't, you don't have links,
I'm
but,
talking
if,
about in the newsletter.
oh, yeah. that
If
can-
you just put reconstructing Dayton /
Yeah,
ranked
no,
choice, there it is.
If you send a blurb, we can run it in the newsletter, and we have links in it all the time.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the letter that you send prior to the meetings with the agenda in it.
That's the newsletter, you're talking about the newsletter, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we
So
can
that's
do
my
that.
motion, is that information and link would be put in that. I think that's fair. And,
Yeah, we do that all the time.
And so that we can be more informed about it. So anyway, that's my motion.
So there's a motion on the floor now.
It doesn't need a motion, we'll do it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Whoa. We're gonna expend our democratic money to do this?
Well, there won't be any extra. If you want a discussion on it, Tom, we'll have a discussion. All right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Mary.
About the whole topic, is, question just to have ranked choice voting just in the city of Dayton?
For starters, yes.
Okay.
So, I mean,
How,
personally, you know, to put the newsletter together, if it's information about ranked choice voting, why not?
Putting it in the newsletter is passive endorsement.
Go ahead, Ken, finish your thought.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be an endorsement. We can just say, for information about ranked choice voting.
I think that's fair.
Well, I mean, is there,
Do you consider that an endorsement to be in the newsletter?
no.
because it could be a topic for discussion at a
Right.
meeting, because there's lots of places have it. It's not like it's a pro or a con just because a certain person recommends it.
Much of the language is out of Minneapolis. That's where it was.
I think ranked choice voting is a good idea. I'm not sure how it worked just in the city of Dayton, but we can discuss it.
Personally, I don't know that much about it. I'm interested, so.
Well, and we may want, he has a proposal there, so we may want to find places, other places that have opinions on it as well, so you can include that as well. All right. Anything else? Yes. Oh, hi, Carol, I didn't see that. Absolutely.
John Murphy's gonna kill me if I don't tell everyone. I have signs in the back. My name's Kira Deaver. I'm running to be clerk of Kettering Municipal Court. If you live in Kettering, Centerville, Moraine, or Washington Township, you can vote for me this November. I'm an attorney. I've been to over 30 courts across the state of Ohio. That's going all the way up to Cleveland, where immigration court is. I mainly practice in immigration and criminal defense. Being in that many different courts, I've seen how clerk's offices run. They're all run differently, and I'll be honest, some suck. What people of this jurisdiction are getting is less than the bare minimum, and they deserve better. And I know that I can deliver better for them. We can bring in e-filing. You shouldn't have to go to court just to get something in the court. We can bring in amnesty. You could be able to pay half your court fees just to be done with your case. We can get you your license back. People shouldn't have to take the bus or lose their job because they can't drive. These are things we can bring to the court. I have a great relationship with the public defender's office. You should be able to get free legal advice if you need it when you go to court. I'm an attorney. I hate going to court. I can't imagine how scary it is for someone who doesn't even have an attorney. For 18 years now, people have not had a choice who the clerk is for Kettering Municipal Court because Andrew White ran unopposed. So this is the first time that you've had a choice. And on election day, it's me or it's Rob Scott. So on November 2nd, I'm going to ask you to leave it to Deaver and vote for me. Please get the word out. Signs to the back. I have sponsor magnets. Thank you so much.
Any other candidates that want to say we're still here? All right. Any other announcements? Our next meeting is scheduled for September 23rd.
Carl has an announcement.
I'm sorry. I think I know what his announcement is. Our next meeting is September 23rd. 7:30? Carl.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, opposite, sign saying aye. Aye. All right, thank you.